Good morning everyone. This is the third take of this video in the last 45 seconds or minute or so, which is quite apt given the title and the content and the topic. Yeah, I felt quite anxious this morning. I was basically anxious about the like keeping up that video which I did yesterday on phenomenology. Let me come under this tunnel, which is feels quite strange. I used to do this at the start. Strange just being under the tunnel, but yeah, I basically was feeling quite anxious because I was quite scared that I might be like plagiarizing my uni content, using the notes from the lecture and using it as like directly referring to the content, using the same words, etc. So I thought today I'd just kind of remake that video and only reference the article that I also mentioned yesterday, but by referencing that I can directly reference it, whereas with the uni content I'm not saying what uni I go to and stuff like that, so I can't really directly reference it. It also just felt a bit weird referencing the content, and I'd like to use my own words a bit more, even though sometimes I won't, and it's quite difficult when you're talking about content as I was to use your own words sometimes, because it's a lot of like theory and definitions and yeah, things like that, and different technical terms, so I might still kind of use the exact wording, but yeah, thought I'd be transparent about that. Anyway, so yeah, went off spiraling about that a bit this morning. Also, when I'd done my notes yesterday, which some of you who watched it might have seen, I had pieces of paper on it to use. I was thinking I've basically just kind of copied the lecture content and written it out, and then I'm using it, and I was like, do I even do this? And then I ended up doing it, but now I've thought, no, I actually don't want to do that. I want to just read the articles, or read the article and then use that instead of the lecture content. I feel like it won't take me that long because I already know about the topic and I've already spoken about it, so it should be okay. But yeah, and yeah, in terms of, sorry, it might be quite noisy, in terms of the anxiety, I thought it's actually quite anxiety inducing doing this video out and about because I haven't done it in a while. I'm just gonna walk because I feel a bit self-conscious and there's people behind me now, but let me walk up here. Yeah, I felt quite nervous, not nervous, but yeah, just quite a bit of anxiety even making a video like this, because I'm out and about, and I haven't done that apart from when I'm on the Saturdays in London, but even then I'm like usually in the park, whereas today I'm out walking, as I used to do a bit more. So it might be a bit noisy, hope that's not too loud, but I'm thinking what I might do is I might buy, Mike, you'll know what I'm talking about, I know you stopped using it, but that Rode microphone, just because I think it would increase the quality of the audio, because I know sometimes the audio isn't the best, but yeah, I might do that. And in terms of like what I think I can do with what I'm trying to do with this feeling of anxiety is just, so again, I'm referencing the content of others, but it's a bit different when it's a YouTube video, but there's these guys called, I think it's Fio Bros, like FIO. I've seen them quite a lot on my recommended. They did a video on the 10-day Vipassana, like 100 hours of meditation, which I kept delaying watching. I don't know why. I think maybe I wasn't certain if it was about the Vipassana. I watched it and it was amazing. I absolutely loved it, and it's made, right, breathe, and it's made me want to do the Vipassana even more. They're just really chilled out guys, and they talked about their experience and it was quite funny. Just like the way they talked about it was quite light-hearted, and although they're talking about it seriously, they make a bit of a joke, and I don't know, it just felt very just nice to watch. And then they also did a video on being present and how to be present more often, and from that they're kind of fundamental, I guess, mindfulness and meditation techniques anyway, but the way they explained it was really nice. And they were talking about, and the reason I'm referencing them, like I want to emphasize this is like what they were talking about, but it's really helped me. And I say it's really helped me, it will really help me once I start implementing it. But so in terms of like bringing your awareness back to the breath, but also bringing your awareness back to the five senses, I think is a really nice thing. And we think of like the body scan and what, like kind of feeling and like bringing your breath into like different areas of the body and feeling and awareness in different areas, and like, you know, scanning all the way from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. That kind of body scan, I think I've explained the body scan right, but also kind of that awareness of your different senses. So touch, that could be like your feet against the ground, that could be your hands in your pockets, you know, whatever you're doing right now. And then also taste, that's probably more applicable if you're eating or drinking. But I guess also just like awareness of the mouth, of that kind of feeling, maybe like swallowing, like the way that we will swallow all the time. Especially if you're talking like I am right now, I have to swallow just not nicest, like, but you know, like the more you're talking, you're kind of like building up saliva, I guess. Bit gross, but I guess not really, like it's a normal thing, isn't it? And I think I explained that right. I guess you're building up more saliva. Anyway, not to go too much into that, but then also your smell. I don't have the best sense of smell, but I guess I can kind of smell nature. But I can't smell too much, maybe I need to blow my nose. And then sound, I mean, you probably all hear that, the sirens. And I can hear the birds, I can hear the cars, I can hear the kind of rustling of the trees and the wind. I guess you can't hear wind, but you can hear breeze, which then makes the trees kind of, and the branches and the leaves swing about. Have I got all the senses? Smell, touch, sound, smell, touch, sound, touch, sound. Oh, I'm probably forgetting some. Yeah. What you can see, obviously. Right now I'm looking at kind of trees and grass, and kind of see the river and houses and cars, and just, yeah, I think it's quite nice to think about what you're seeing and being present with that. I know that there might be a certain irony to doing a video on being present when it's quite difficult to be. I guess I am being present with my surroundings though, because I'm kind of bringing awareness to them for myself, even though I'm also communicating it on the video. I feel like I've missed one sense out, but I can't think what it is. Anyway, it's quite a good spot to film actually. It's slightly out the way of the public, because when I was trying to do that, I felt like I wanted to escape. But I guess also with the anxiety, that's like one thing you can do, like obviously the breathing and the awareness, and non-judgmental awareness of what's going on for you. Sorry, that's probably really noisy. But also thinking of equanimity. This is something I'll learn a lot more for those of you that haven't watched my videos before. I'm hoping, well, I'm not hoping, I will be doing a Vipassana meditation, the 10-day meditation, which I won't try and explain, because although I've watched quite a lot of videos and stuff like that, I don't know loads about it. So if you're interested in learning about that, I'd recommend like the Theo Bros, or Unjaded Jade, who I mentioned, does a video on it, or just kind of your own research. But I'm hoping your own research might sound a bit patronising, you know what I mean. And then also yeah, so I'm hoping to do that. I will be doing that in probably in the summer, in July maybe, so that'd be really cool. I'm not sure exactly when I'll do that, but sometime in the summer when I can do 10 days. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by people walking around and running, and I tend to just kind of be quite, what's the word? I don't know, distracted, yeah. Just any sort of noises or like the bird there, just kind of, it's to do with my attention, I think. As you can probably tell, I've gone off on a lot of tangents, and it could be people, it could be the animals, it could be any kind of stimulus. It will tend to take my attention away, which is quite ironic because I'm talking about being present. And yeah, anyway, we're not all perfect, are we? I guess, well, none of us are perfect, but anyway, equanimity, I think that's to do with sort of this clear-headedness. I mean, I googled it just before this, but I've heard it spoken about a lot in terms of mindfulness and the Vipassana, and I think it was to do with Vipassana as well, where it's like clear-headedness and this I think it's just sort of like, it relates to impermanence and the idea that the feeling of happiness as well as the feeling of sadness, both of them will not last. So what's that phrase? This too shall pass. So all the good things, or like good moments, they're good in that moment, or they're good for a period of time, and then they'll pass, the same way that the negative feelings and the negative events will happen and they'll pass. So I think it's quite a freeing idea, and I guess that also brings you back to the present, because you know that whatever you're feeling right now, good or bad, it won't last forever, and then you'll be on to the next thing. And it's like, yeah, nothing is permanent. I know it can sound quite morbid, but I think it's also a nice thing that your breath is permanent, you know. That's what the Theo Bros were saying, like, the one thing that we do have that we know is permanent is our breath, and then because when that goes, we will no longer be here. Yeah, so what else was it? Yeah, I guess even like the present, like in terms of impermanence, the present, so like now, in 5 minutes, that's no longer the present, that's the past. So what is present? Because the present is always, you know, like the present itself is kind of a funny concept, isn't it? Because time is always moving. So our present now isn't our present now because it's shifting all the time. But yeah, quite an interesting concept. Anyway, I think that's probably it for me. I think you can tell that my attention isn't always the best when I come out into like not in my kitchen or in the flat, because you've got a lot. Well, I guess this links quite nicely to what I've been talking about though, like being aware of what's going on around you. So for example, the people, like the many people that have been walking past or running past or with their dogs or chatting to their whoever they're with, like that's a stimulus, and that's something that you're aware of, the same way I can hear the buzzing. Quite funny, got that on camera. I think that was a bee. I'm not actually scared of them, I promise. It just threw me off a bit. There's still, you can probably see it behind me. And the cars and the birds. I think that's a plane maybe I can hear as well. Yeah, you can, I don't know, you just, when you really kind of try and get in touch with your senses, you notice a lot more, and that's quite a lovely thing, I think. And I guess I've exemplified how that can work in this video by getting out into nature and noticing all that's around you. It's very easy, well, it's not easy, it's easier to become present with what's going on, kind of look into that a bit more. Yeah, I hope that was that's kind of something, yeah, I think it's kind of helped me with like the anxious feeling, and I hope it can help some other people thinking about like kind of bringing your awareness to the different senses. I feel like I have missed one out. Touch, sound, sight, smell. What's the other one? What you can hear, what you can see, what you can smell, what you can touch. What's the other one? Please tell me in the comments. That's crazy. I can't even think. All this video is centered around, well, one of the aspects is the 5 senses, and I can't even name all 5. Brilliant stuff, man. Brilliant. Yeah, I hope it's not too noisy, as I've said a few times. But yeah, and also thinking about impermanence, what you're feeling now, the good and the bad will pass, and then you might have other things that are good and bad, and it's just like this is the flow of our lives. Like things kind of come and go, and there's something quite beautiful about that, is that we're going to have the highs and lows, we're going to have the feelings and the emotions and the thoughts, and they're going to pass. Like, I don't know how, like, we don't know how long they're going to kind of stick for, but like the idea is that these will pass, and this too shall pass. And that can be quite freeing, as I said. Yeah, and there's much more to it, but there's a couple of things that kind of reflecting on as a result of the mindfulness stuff, as a result of watching the Theo Bros, so thank you guys. I'll link the channel because I really enjoyed that video. They also speak about you're not your thoughts, and that's another interesting thing, and I guess I can link to phenomenology. I will make another video on that a bit later, once I've gone through the article again and kind of interpreted that, rather than the lecture slides, because I think it would make me feel anxious if I think it was making me feel anxious doing that video, and it felt wrong to me, so yeah, so noisy, picked a bad spot, but yeah, alright, thank you for watching everyone, and I hope you all have a lovely day, and I'll be back with the phenomenology video a bit later. Yeah, take care everyone, bye.